is to hello everybody. It's Big Al here, Alan Davidson, and I am in Houston, Texas, broadcasting to you today. So I'd love to hear in the chat, enter in where in the world you're listening from. And I have the privilege, the pleasure, the fabulous opportunity to introduce you to one of my favorite people on planet Earth, and that is, in certain circles, she's known as Jacqueline M. Kane. In other more infamous circles, she's known as the real fucking JFK. So I'm just here to tell you that I'm here to introduce you to my friend Jackie. She has over 30 years working in the health industry in different ways. And she has now laser focused that 30 years of experience, of training, of learning, of wisdom, of expanding into many, many healing modalities, and laser focused in helping women, particularly who live with chronic pain of any kind, really, particularly physical pain, emotional pain, mental pain, psychic pain, spiritual pain, to transform their relationship with that pain and, in many cases, heal that pain completely. And today, one of the many fabulous tools in our arsenal is healing ancestral karma. And I believe we're in store for a little ancestral healing. You got any ancestors in the closets there that might have been, way in the, the ancestral line down a little bit? I don't know about you, but I have a couple of lines that, shall we say, had a few slips in their fabulousness. So anyway, that said, please welcome the real JFK.
Thank you, Alan, for having me here. And yeah, I love talking about this topic because, well, you were the first one actually who introduced me to it. And I share about it there's a new book coming out, Ancestors Within. And I share how my first experience with Ancestral Clearing was actually at your event. And before that process, my family, I love those signs. I use them all the time.
Oh, it seems like Jackie has frozen there. I know she was saying that she's in Connecticut. She's broadcasting from Connecticut today, and they were having a huge high windstorm. So, hope we have not lost her connection. So, that said, well, I'm going to try to paraphrase that story and see if we can get her back real quick. So I was actually doing an evolutionary mystic meditation retreat in 2016 in January, and one of the evening programs. There we go. You're back.
I'm back.
I was telling our viewers about the heavy windstorm in Connecticut, and I was just launching into, you being at my event in Houston in 2016, and that one of the evening programs we did an ancestral clearing. So I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Yes. So to lead up to that event, my goal was to plan a family trip of 13 of us because my sister-in-law had just lost her father and her sister. So the holidays was going to be tough. And I said, let's just get out of Connecticut. Let's get out of Dodge for Christmas. And I thought everybody would be up for that. And my in-laws were like, nope, we're not going. And I'm like, fine, maybe we'll go on our own. Lo and behold, I go to your event. Immediately after the ancestral clearing, my phone started buzzing. And my son was like, I found a house for 13 of us in Ireland. And I was like, that's great, but we're not going. Then I get another text from my husband, and he's like, yep, everybody changed their mind, and everybody's on board. Everything lined up for us to have the most amazing trip. And I remember coming up to you and saying, what did you do? And you said, no mistakes. And it's just one of those moments when you're like, it's a God wink. You got to pay attention to this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I just kept playing around with ancestral energy. And because so many women who come to me, they're in physical pain, they have physical ailments, fibromyalgia, arthritis, things that the normal medical treatments don't heal.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I started adding in ancestral energy clearing, oh my gosh, they would have like days where there's no pain and they had more energy. And so that's when you start working with the energy that we're carrying and look at that, then healing can really take off.
So I want to just unpack this for a moment and help explain this to our viewers today. So, most people think of healing as a physical experience. You go to the doctor, or you go to the massage therapist, or you go to the nutritionist, and so they look at you, at your body. And what we know from a holistic perspective is that particularly every chronic disease has a physical, an emotional, a mental, a moral or will, and a spiritual component. And a whole body, whole being healing, you have to address all five of those. And so what Jackie's saying is that, there are many ways to work with some of those chronic illnesses that she mentioned, but a lot of times doctors will not include the emotional and certainly do not include the spiritual. And so I know Jackie combines tapping and helping to clear the emotional energy and the really, really difficult, hard to clear spiritual, karmic imprints, ancestral imprints that can lead to energy blockages in the body that create these chronic illnesses. And what I love, Jackie, is that you've really taken this ancestral clearing, that, okay, I introduced you to it, but you have taken and run with it. In the last 4 years, you have really become an expert in your own right on not only ancestral karma clearing, but how it affects health and well-being and success and thriving. So
Yeah, and it really impacts every area of our lives, and we don't even know it's happening. So some people may not even understand what is ancestral energy. So I define it as the unresolved emotional issues that were passed down from one generation to the next. And all that energy becomes us when we're conceived in our mother's womb, right? We have no choice because that's where our story begins. And so everything from our mother comes down to us along with our fathers. And all of that baggage becomes our DNA, the habits, the patterns, the programming. It sets us up for certain situations.
mm-hmm.
And you may know people who have bought every program. They've tried everything to get out of pain. They've tried everything to increase their income, to create a bigger business. And still, at the end of the day, at the end of the year, they're back at square one and they haven't made that progress.
Mm-hmm.
That's when it's important to look down deep at the ancestral energy that we're carrying that we have no idea we're even carrying.
So, you certainly have mentioned, the health aspects of karma clearing, but then you sort of just mentioned, if you've been trying as an entrepreneur or a business person, you've been trying to create a new business or, break through a glass income ceiling of some kind, that there can be ancestral karma that's hindering our success in our business or our success in our career, whatever that career happens to be.
Whatever it is. Yeah. So the 5 areas it impacts is your physical health, your cash flow and ability to create an income, your spiritual connections, your relationships, and really your ability to stand in your power. Because that's a scary thing for a lot, especially women. We haven't really been born to focus on ourselves. Women mostly are taught and trained and programmed to take care of everybody else, which can lead us to people pleasing, over yesing, over giving, overdoing. And that leads to fibromyalgia. It leads to resentment, right? So, and I find that all of that resentment, that sadness and grief, because we're not getting the attention, comes out as physical pain.
So, I mean, you just said a mouthful.
I
So
did.
wanted to take
Sorry.
a moment and unpack it. No, I'm glad you did. So, one of the things that I heard you say that I think is so important is that particularly women, of the 5 areas, you say standing in your power. Now, I call that, divine self-expression, which to express yourself authentically and express your true self requires us to stand, stand in our power. I call it stand my sacred ground. But I am truly standing in my power. Now, that requires a soul and a soul's evolution to create an absolutely new paradigm of power, because the world that most of us live in is based on domination and submission. And many women suffer the effects of that domination, submission paradigm. But I also want to say that many men who so often seem to have the upper hand also suffer in that same paradigm, trapped in a place of domination instead of evolving their spirit and evolving a new paradigm of power.
Yeah.
But the payoff or the cost that I hear you saying, Jackie, is that because women are in that submissive role under domination, they're programmed from birth to overgive, to overdo, to over yes, to sublimate, to sacrifice their own power, their own desires. And so they live constantly overgiving and exhausting their spiritual power and spiritual authority.
Yeah. Yeah. And even I can add in manipulation. When we haven't lived a life in our power, there's manipulation. And so we attract more of that. And then we create personas inside of us to be somebody else, right?
All those pesky subpersonalities.
Where all of your voice work and mystic work comes into play, right? Because they're so strong. And working with women, it's amazing to realize how strong the saboteur is, and the inner critic, and the protector, and the control. There's so many voices. It's such important work. And it's so needed right now because there's so many people in pain, and they have no idea that that all of this has happened to them.
So do you feel like sharing an ancestral clearing for all of us today?
Sure.
Can you lead us in that?
Sure.
And I do want to invite you to stick around to the end of the interview, because Jackie has a free gift for you, a meditation that you can use on your own that will also help you to clear more ancestral karma and stand more boldly and fabulously in your power. So
right. So first we have to understand your ancestral story. So if you're living, and you get to choose one, we can focus on your physical health. So if you're living with physical pain, underneath that physical pain, what's the energy and the motion that pain makes you feel? Like when you think of that pain, is there frustration? Is there annoyance? Is there worry?
So you think, like choose, if you're going to choose physical health, it's like, is there is there something chronic in your health that causes a pain, a physical pain, a chronic pain? Okay.
Yeah. Let's just stick with one just to make it easy. right? Let's just say today, even if you don't have physical pain, but you worry often, or you're tired a lot, right? So when you think of that exhaustion, the physical pain, can you see it? If you just take let's have everybody just take 3 deep breaths and bring that breath all the way down your body into your feet. And then I want everybody to call their energy back. So you're going to repeat after me and you're going to say I and state your name.
I, Alan,
Bring back my energy
bring back my energy
from all the places I've left it.
from all the places, known and unknown, that I have left it.
You're going to do that 2 more times. So I and state your name. Bring back my energy from all the places I've left it.
All the places I've left it.
And 1 more time. I bring back my energy, all the places I've left it. And how you feel even just by doing that.
I feel more energized. I feel sort of like my energy's contained in my auric field. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
The line between me and the rest of the world, there's like a real energetic container, and I'm held in.
Yeah. Great. Beautiful. And so now I want you to tune in to the energy, the emotion that the pain makes you feel, or the exhaustion. And I want you to tune into it and scoop it all out of your body, or as much as you can right now. Imagine scooping it out of your body into a ball in front of your heart. And let me know when that's complete.
Well, I thought I was going to need a bigger scoop, but I think I've got most of it now. So.
Good. So now I want you to visualize your parents standing in front of you. And you're going to hand this ball of energy back to them, and you're going to say, thank you, but it's time to hand this back. This was never mine to carry.
Thank you. It's time to give this back now. It was never mine to carry.
Wonderful. And tune into them saying to you, I never wanted my child to carry this. It's time to pass this back. And let me know when that's complete. And now you're going to line up, calling in all of their ancestors, lining up behind them as they pass this ball of energy back from one generation to the next, all the way back through time until its very beginning. And you will have a sense or knowing. Some people will visualize, some people will hear it, to know when it gets to the very beginning. Okay, and is it there?
Yes.
Yeah. And now I want you to tune into this golden ball of light that comes down from the heaven. And as it comes down, it transmutes that ball of energy into its complete polar opposite of unconditional love, excitement, ease, and flow. as it comes down and passes into each one of those ancestors from one to the next and to the next, all the way down as it comes down to you, and see it as it enters into the top of your head, down into your head, face, and neck, down your arms, down your chest and your heart, down into your pelvic area, and down your legs. And then ground this new energy, this new way of being, down deep into Mother Earth. And visualize your life with this new energy.
Mm-hmm.
How does that feel?
Delicious. Like I really felt I wanted to move my body. It's like not only anchor into the earth, but into my bones. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's really beautiful to hear the ripple effect from people. Even the clients who have children, I help them remove it, because as a mom, we don't want to keep passing this in. So there's a process to remove it from the children and clear our future generations and their lineage.
Mm-hmm.
So the ripple effect is just beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll let you know how it goes. I'm driving to South Texas to see my mom tomorrow. We'll see
And
if
if
we can pick
anybody has
anything
any,
loose.
yeah. You know, I had one client who said she was talking to her son a few days after we did this process, and he started saying, you know, I was feeling a little off on Monday. I had this weird thing with my stomach, and that's exactly when we were doing the process. No mistake, right?
No mistake. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to hear from those of you that are listening now or will be listening to this meditation, this exercise, this healing in the future. So, what are you sensing? What do you notice in your body after Jackie's guided exercise? And so, please enter that into the chat for us. So, Jackie, why don't you tell us about your soul activation meditation?
Yeah, so the soul activation meditation helps us clear and release the generational patterns so that you can reclaim your own energy and activate your soul's energetic alignment to get started, to feel so much more aligned with your soul on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
Because we can get thrown off course pretty easily these days.
Stop the presses. A girl can get distracted from her soul.
Please, I know.
Yeah. And so this meditation will help us reconnect to who we are at soul level.
Yes.
Wonderful. Wonderful. All right. Well, I'm entering that into the chat right now. So you can go to Jackie's soul activation.
Yeah, soul activation meditation.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, great.
Link is there.
Okay. I'm going to copy that again, and I'll re-enter it into the chat again at the end of our talk. So Jackie, you know, as we come just to the end of this very brief conversation about a huge, huge topic, you know, I think the thing that I want to leave people with is, if you have been trying to change a habit for a long time, even like decades in your life, or you have a yo-yo sort of, you make progress on something, but then you end up snapping back to old ways of being, like, dieting, or, but really any habit in your life. And you've just done everything that you know to do, and you've exhausted so many resources. You might consider that there are karmic imprints from past lives and ancestral karma from your ancestral lineage. Um, and begin to clear that, to see if then you can establish new behaviors in alignment with your soul goals. So, Jackie, what would you want to leave our viewers with?
I think so many times we start taking it personally that there's something wrong with me over time. And just know that to have compassion for yourself, because you've done the best you could with the resources you had at the time. And this is all new energy. This is new discoveries, right? Of how to heal, how to move past feeling stuck. So have compassion for yourself for all that you've done.
You were talking about self-care and self-love earlier. So this is, compassion is part of that.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Okay. Well, Jacque Kane, I've posted the link for your free gift in there. But if people wanted to be able to get a hold of you, how's the best way? How can they go and find you in the World Wide Web?
I have a Facebook group, Healing Circle by Jacque Kane. They can visit me there, and go to my website, JacquelineMKane.com.
Yeah, let me see.
That's a long one.
Queeline.
I can, and then
Well, I just want to make sure I spell Jacqueline for everybody.
Yes.
Because, you can search for the real fucking Jacque Kane, but, you may not find the person you're looking for. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, that I'll have to get that URL, that website up and running.
There, I just put JacquelineMKane.com in the chat. So,
right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and if you have questions, we can just hop on a call and figure out what it is you need.
All right. Who are you going to call? The real JFK, honey. That's who you're going to call. All right, Jackie, thank you so much for your generosity and your time and your attention and your wisdom and your expertise. 30 years of working in the health industry and trying to crack that code of why people can't heal. And so thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Bye, everybody. Thanks for your time and attention. And let us know what you sense, what you notice in your body after the healing. Bye-bye.